I just washed my face and I feel amazing. I think everybody should wash their faces for like 15 minutes. Feels amazing. I'm just here to tell you guys that it only takes like 15 minutes to go on ahead and wash your face, to go in the shower, to do your laundry. Well, to be fair, doing your laundry does not take fucking 15 minutes, but I think getting up and actually trying to do something instead of just lying in your bed all day and watching TikToks is not, it's not a lot of time. Like, I feel like watching TikTok, it's like, it gives you the dopamine for a second, but I feel like if it's too much that's being released or it's too much that you're consuming, then obviously, it's not good for you. And like, literally, I was just crying about how sad and fucking pathetic I was and actually gonna be. And I realized I'm not like that. And it took me like 15, 10, probably 8 minutes to get up and wash my face because I just decided to change my life at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. because I don't want anybody and I don't want myself either starting off the year freshly and starting it off of how it was last year, And I know everybody says like New Year, same me, and that's okay to a certain extent, but I do feel like you have to change within every day of your life, or at least change a few things here and there about yourself in which you can improve. And I feel like for me right now, I was literally just complaining about what my purpose was, and I just need to lock the fuck in because no one's really going to help you. And I feel like it was always this thing where I had this victim mindset. You're not the victim. And I know you probably see a lot of these things being said about people not helping you. And for me, it's like when people say these things, they truly mean it. No one will try to help you at all. No one's going to try to make you get your own money. No one's going to help you try to make your own business. No one's going to help you try to stop being on TikTok 24/7. And it's like, yeah, you might get invited to that one family dinner, going to a buffet or whatever once in a while, but it's not every day that you're going to go out to dinner or go out to eat with your family. You get that opportunity and then you might take it or you might not take it because you want to lay your ass in bed all day. But even if you take that opportunity, that's just like one day out of what, the 7 days that we actually have. So I just feel like, yeah, take that opportunity to go out with your family or your friends. But in reality, every day, you know, it's literally nonstop, repeatedly every single day of your life that you can do something. It's just you choose not to do it because it's like, okay, well, I'm unmotivated. And I don't want to sit here and give um no hope and say, well, you're, I mean, if you're unmotivated as fuck, then you're just unmotivated. And I definitely don't want to sit here and say that other people have not been unmotivated because, when these influencers tell you to have discipline, they don't actually know the struggle of trying to get up every day and find the will to live. If we're being so honest with you, everybody says, well, have discipline. Don't be motivated because motivation is like that it's like the coffee or tea to your morning, but taking it every day, I mean, I feel as if we all wish we had motivation every day, but that's not in us humans to have motivation every day. It's not sustainable in any shape or form. It's like, yeah, you get that motivation to stop going on TikTok for one day, but what about those countless days? And I just feel like it only takes 15 minutes for you to change your life. It takes only 30 minutes for you to get up outside of your day and actually do something, walk around in nature, go touch a tree, or go talk to somebody that you don't know, even if they might not want to talk to you. Rejection is always a thing in which humans have to experience. I've experienced it multiple times in my life. Am I still afraid? Yeah, I'm still a little scared of rejection, but I mean, you kind of have to put yourself out there, and if you don't, you're going to be stuck in that same position. You're not going to change anything. And I feel like a lot of people are scared of change. They're scared of like what might actually happen, you know. There's still some people out there that don't want to start their YouTube channel because they're like, oh, like I don't want other people to see me. Oh, I don't want anybody to look at me. I don't want my whole school to know that I do this. And I'm just like, well, babe, like you're going to be seen by probably millions, you know, take that risk. You're going to be seen by two people, three people, four people, five people. And even if the whole school knows you, who cares? They don't have the same mental capacity as you to even start a YouTube or even talk to themselves like I'm doing right now. Like, you know, I might be a little insane, but I'm okay with that. You know, other people don't get me and I don't want them to get me. But back to motivation. Um I just like literally sat here for 45 minutes or 30 minutes scrolling on TikTok, and then I realized my sad, pathetic life is actually insane. Like, what am I doing with my life? And, you know, I've always been this big advocate for taking accountability for your own actions because if you don't, then who are you going to blame? Your mom, your dad, I don't know, your brother? Who are you going to blame? Your friends? You can't blame them. They have nothing to do with your miserable life. So, I mean, I'm here now and, you know, I didn't blame anyone. You know, I had to blame myself because I just had to realize I'm like, I need to lock the fuck in for college. I need to lock in so I can not only dream but live my dream because I don't want it to just be a thing where I'm like disassociating every day with life and listening to music all the time and listening to these audios where I'm like walking around and acting like I'm a model or something and I'm not that. I'm not a model. I probably could be. But you know I have the cheekbones, y'all like. But anyway, I want to live my dream, which is to be a leopard. I want to be a leopard. I want to run. I want to walk. I want to breathe. I want to have money. Um, I don't want kids. I want to be married. That's my dream. And there's more other things, of course, but you know, I'm so young, so I mean, I don't know. But anywho, just 30 minutes ago, I was just crying about what my purpose was in life and how I feel like I didn't really have a purpose. And to be honest, I think everybody has that purpose, and I feel like everybody doesn't have a passion for everything, and that's okay, you know. But I don't think it's okay for you to live in fear all day and say, oh, well, I don't have a passion for anything. And then you don't actually try to get out there and do something in order to make it your passion. Sometimes you kind of have to do that. Like, even in high school, it stems from high school and choosing a program, you know? It's like you have to choose a program. Even if you don't want to, you have to do it. And for me, that was photography. And when I chose that photography program, I was like, wow, I'm really actually happy with this. And I'm happy that I practiced what I practiced with photography. I'm happy with taking shots of other people. And I'm happy that I can tell a story with photography as well. And, you know, some things maybe you don't want to do in the long term, but I feel like you should practice it down. And I think that's a problem with me is that um, I see it as where, okay, I can do these things. Like I can draw, I can do photography. And I look at it and I'm like, I don't know if I actually want to do these things for a living and take shots of other people. But in reality, it's like I wanted to be a photographer. But then I think I realized the hard work of actually trying to get people's photos and take a shot and actually edit them and publish them, in which I think it was a part of fear that I had inside my brain because it was like, oh my gosh, I actually have to work. Nobody wants to work. Ew. I don't want to work. But I have to work. You have to lock in. You have to. It may be easier said than done, but I'm telling you right now, in those in that break, that winter break that you just had of spending your time scrolling on TikTok all day and making those scenarios up in your head, you can be finding success in those scenarios inside your head. Many people in which they have the lives that you want to live. They don't dream. They dream, but they actually do the things that they do. Not only in a dream, but they do it in real life as well. And that's something that we all need to do, especially Gen Z as a total. And I do get that working is not the choice in which everybody wants to do. Nobody wants to work, you know. I don't want to work. You have to get out there and at least try to do it because you're stuck on living in fear and living in this state of mind in where you say, "Oh, like I don't want to do this because like it's too much. It's too much. I don't, I don't want to take my time out of the day and draw. I'd rather sit up and here on my phone all day." And to be fair, um, scrolling on TikTok is a coping mechanism, but it's not a healthy one. It's not a good mechanism for you, and I don't think anybody should be doing it. And, I kind of disagree with the fact of using less social media. And I think maybe you should use social media to your advantage instead of using it for just entertainment. I think finding books on TikTok or finding things valuable, you know, it's like Pinterest. Everybody loves Pinterest because it's a form of expressing yourself and expressing what you actually want to be in the future. And Pinterest and TikTok and Instagram, they all work in their own ways. And I think with Instagram, it's like I think a lot of people don't like Instagram because it's such a monitoring spirit. And I do agree to a certain extent that, if you do post something, then people will look at it and people won't like it. But I also agree that Instagram doesn't have to be bad, is what people make it seem. I think with Instagram, it can just be a thing where you look at stuff in motivational videos and you use it for shopping or you use it for fashion. You can use it for anything that you like, photography, drawing. You can use that for anything, just like Pinterest is. And while Pinterest may be a little bit different since it has so much photos of other people's lives and other people's aesthetic, uh, I do think to a certain extent, Instagram can be like that too. You don't have to make it to where it's like such a horrible thing in which people are watching you. People are watching you. It's like, I mean, you posted it, so of course people are gonna watch you. They may not like it, which I mean, I had to like kind of get through my senses of Instagram being a monitoring spirit too, which I feel like we're all spirits in a way. We're all monitoring in a way. We're all kind of like looking at each other's thing. But I was having a mental breakdown, and sometimes you need those mental breakdowns. And I don't think it's embarrassing for anybody to show their vulnerability and say to themselves that they're not okay. And that's okay to not be okay. And it's okay to have these mental breakdowns because they actually teach you something. And like a lot of people like to suppress their emotions and feelings, and it just doesn't work out because like the more you suppress them, the more you're like, okay, I'm okay. And in reality, there's so much different ways of suppressing your emotions. People just think like it's just like okay, like you think you're okay, but I think suppressing your emotions can come in a deeper factor. Like for me, this whole winter break, it was just like I thought it was a good, or no, not a good, but I thought it was an okay winter break because I didn't really do anything. I just stayed in my bed all day, but and I just was watching like TikToks. I was like, whew, 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 every day, all day, and I had realized the end of it. I'm like, that was not okay, And in that state of mind, when I was scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, I was like, okay, this is okay, right? Like, I'm okay. Like, you know, I didn't realize it, but I didn't really take into account of which that affected my mental health in the future. And that's sometimes what you have to think. You have to kind of think into the future. And I know a lot of people don't want to think into the future because they're like, oh, like whatever happens in the future, it happens. And I agree with that to a certain extent, but I do feel like sometimes we have to take our future selves into account. Like, even when you're working out, you kind of have to give yourself that talk in which you say, let's look at ourselves in the next 4 months. We'll lose at least 20 to 30 pounds in the next 4 months. Because it's all fun and games until it's like it's January. You're like, okay, you're shopping, you're in the mall at Target and you try on that one dress and you're like, damn, like this is really sucky on me. And you hate your body and you hate how you looked in that one photo when you were sitting down, crouched down with your back like this instead of like this. But even then when you're looking like this, you think, okay, I look well. In reality, you don't like your body. You hate it. You don't want anybody to look at it. You don't want anybody to stare at it for too long. You don't want pictures being taken of you because you don't like the way you look. And and that's just the start of January. And then it goes on, and then it goes on into January. It just goes on to January, to February, to March, April, May. And in the span of 4 months, you know, that day that you looked at yourself, you're like, wow, I look really hideous here. I don't like the way I look. My body is disgusting until it gets to February and you didn't do anything about it. You still hate yourself. And then it gets to March, you still hate yourself. And gets to May and April and you still hate yourself. It's like it's a constant reminder that you will always be like that. And you won't be like that unless you change it. And that's me as well. That's me still, you know. You kind of have to look at yourself and be like, do I really like this about myself? And if the answer is no, even if you have to question it, it's like you don't have to settle for that. You know, you can always change and improve, right? And, you know, just think about how you'll look in the next months or two, or think about your future. It doesn't even have to occur in months. Let's say like you're 30 or whatever, and let's talk about the future benefits. It only takes 15, 30, 1 hour, and it only takes that amount of time to change something about yourself instead of just settling down and saying, ew, you know? Doesn't have to be like that. January, it could be ill. And then February, it can be like, okay. And then March, it could be, all right, okay. We're getting there. And then next month, it could be like, I really worked hard for this. And it's the satisfaction that it also comes with as well. And I'm just letting you know right now, even washing your face or getting up to shower, it's not going to take you 2 weeks to do that, guys. It's not going to take you a month to do that. It's not. Is it subtle? Yeah, it's subtle, you know. And even with the gym, you don't have to go every day. If you want faster results, I suggest going every day. But it's also about eating as well. Like you genuinely don't have to go to the gym every single day to prove that you're getting the muscles, you know, getting those yeah, you don't have to do that. 15 minutes is all you need. And it comes with porn, corn. I wonder if I have to censor that out, but yeah, sexual nudity and looking at stuff. It takes 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes for people to just look away and say, I don't want to partake in this because you're going to regret it. And most of these things that give you this small amount of dopamine, you don't realize that it affects you in the long run watching too much of these things that you're not supposed to watch. We're not supposed to watch other humans mating with each other and making love with each other. No, we're not supposed to watch that. We're not even supposed to be scrolling on this app for days and days and days and days, and it turns into weeks. Take those 15 minutes into showering. Take that 15 minutes into walking. Take that 50, I said 50, even 50, but take that 15 minutes into praying. Take that 15 minutes into what I'm doing and journal your thoughts and feelings. And this is what I do. This is what I kind of have to do because I know other people are struggling with this, and this is not easy to overcome. I don't want to make it seem like this is such an easy thing for people to just overcome and say, I'm going to get up and do this. You genuinely have to make a statement though and say, I will do this. I am going to do this. And to be honest, don't even think about it. Don't even think of it, just do it. Literally just go up on ahead and go do it. And if you want to think about it, then just ask yourself, do you want to be in this predicament forever, or do you want to settle down and be the miserable person that you are and you will look like, or do you want to change that and say, I will look better and I will feel better? And honestly, it's about eating the foods too. It takes 1 minute to take that freaking pill, that supplement. 15 minutes to drink that water with that chlorophyll in it. It doesn't take a lot of time, guys, to do things every step of the day. It doesn't take an hour to do these things. You have to make it as to where this is your life. So yeah, I just wanted to go up ahead and say that. Like I had just washed my face. I feel like the whole video I've been like greasy and stuff, but like it took me like 8 minutes to wash my face, and I feel better now. I feel okay. So yeah, get better, guys. Love you.